Hi guys, it's Keith and Lori from Home Right.
And today it is April 7th. Weather looks great moving forward, and we have got a bunch of tomatoes to get in the ground. So let's get going. Now we've got 18 different varieties of tomatoes this year. 3 of those varieties were gifts we got from a neighbor. All the rest of them we started from seed under our grow lights back on February 9th. Now, somewhere around the 3rd week in March, we transferred them from the indoor grow lights out to the greenhouse. So let me go show you what it looks like today. All in all, we got a pretty full place in here. Here's some of the ones that we were given as gifts, but Lori's gone ahead and we've got everything tagged up here. And some of them are getting real tall. We were kind of hoping to plant last week, but weather just wasn't working out for us. So looking at our forecast moving forward here, we are good to go. So today we're hoping to get somewhere around 70 plants into the ground, and I think we've got over 120 in total.
Keith and I spent yesterday planning out the garden and how we wanted to put these into the garden. Let me turn the camera around so you can see the plans that we came up with for putting these tomatoes into the garden. All right, so what I had done is I just took a dry erase board and I drew out 4 different beds that we're gonna use in the garden. I put the different varieties of tomatoes across the top. The black text is how many different types of tomatoes I have, and the blue text is how many of the tomatoes that I will have left over. The squares represent the cherry tomatoes that will actually go on the arbor that's already out in the garden. We also talked about adding some container gardens, and the plan is we're going to put all of our Roma type of paste tomatoes across here. We also talked about putting in-ground beds. Over here towards the backside of the garden, we're going to put 10 Roadsters and 10 red snappers in one section and 5 ace tomatoes here. So let's get out to the garden and let's get planting. So Keith is using a tulip auger to help drill the holes just to make it easier for us.
Yeah, I think you can use a shovel. This just digs into the red clay a little bit easier down low.
So some of our Roadsters and red snappers did get a little bit leggy. That's not a problem. We're just going to drill the hole a little bit deeper. We will add a little bit of permatill into these because we do have voles in our garden. So we'll add a little bit of this and then pop these down in, push the soil right over the top.
Now that Lori's watered this in, last step we're going to do, just cover it with a little bit of this leaf mulch. That way the soil will at least retain some moisture and we may not have to water them as much.
Now that my in-ground tomatoes are completed, I'm moving on to my containers. This row right here is my San Marzanos, and then over here I have Roma VFs. So with these tomatoes, since we are using the fabric grow bags, I do not have to add permatill with these. I will just go ahead and add the coop poop. So when I'm all done with that, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so we now have the Romas in, covered them with leaf mulch, went ahead and watered them. And also over here, a little bit harder to see because these are starting to get in the shade right now. It is 5 o'clock, but these are the San Marzanos. These are also been watered and leaf mulch. We've moved on to this bed. In this bed here, we have 2 purple boys in the back here, 3 beefsteaks across there. And there is 1 Honey Delight cherry right here that will eventually be trellising up here. Then moving down to the other side of this bed, I have 3 lemon boys across the back. I have 2 lemon boy 2s in the front. And over here is a sweetie tomato. Again, that one is supposed to be trellising up on the arbor here. Also finally got to this bed too, and this bed has 6 cream sausages in here with 1 pink fence. This is our volunteer tomato that actually came up last year, so we're going to trellis that one up on this trellis.
All right, well, finally starting to get near the end here. It's been a lot longer than we thought it would be. Lori, as you can see here, she trimmed out these Louisiana shallots on both the front and the back. We're going to leave these ones in the middle. Here's just some of the ones that she was picking here.
And I also have another container just like it inside.
Yeah.
So that'll either be transplanted into the garden or used up for something else.
So we probably got about another hour's worth of work here, but like I said, this 75 tomato plants, putting down some of this compost, cleaning some beds. Yeah, sure, we took a break for lunch, but it was still a good 8-hour day. I'm done. I think Lori's done too.
I am so done. So we're finishing up our last bed here. Keith went ahead and put some compost down. He is watering it in, and then we just got to add 1 little bit of the leaf mulch right on top. So in this bed, there is Stupice, 3 Stupice plants in the front. I believe they're Stupice. That was what a neighbor gave to us, and we saved the seeds. And then in the back here, I have a Speckled Roman, which is like a Roma tomato. I have 2 Lucky Tigers, which is also like Roma tomatoes. And then in the corner here is a Gardener's Delight cherry tomato, which will trellis up on the arbor. So this is a few weeks later, and I did want to show you behind the blackberries here. This is where the fence tomato goes. It gets actually a lot of shade during the day, and he just does really well. So we'll end up trellising him all across the fence here. In another place, back over here, we just popped in another tomato, pink fence back here, and then we just planted these guys in a few different spots along our fence line. So we also popped in some of those fence tomatoes you can see back here. There's one, there's another, and I got another one right there. We still gave away a whole bunch of tomatoes, but we still had a lot of tomatoes still. So let's try a bunch more of container gardening. So here's a whole bunch more tomatoes that we put in here. We're putting them up on a drip line. And then we're actually going to go ahead and plant a couple of different types of plants in between. Maybe kind of fill this whole line with more plants. So this is the start of the Florida weave. We have 1 row here, and as these plants continue to get bigger and bigger, we will just continue to add the string to help trellis up these tomatoes.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you got any questions or suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the next video.